What's going on, everyone? Today I'm here to talk about a little bit of video production gear. Now, I use a ton of different cameras and accessories to shoot my videos, and my most recent one is this new GoPro Hero 6 vlogging setup, or run and gun style setup. I've owned a lot of GoPros in the past, and I really didn't feel like I was probably going to be picking up another one anytime soon. The last ones that I had was the Hero 4, but the Hero 6 has some really stacked features in it, and with the recent price drop, it felt like the right time to pick up another GoPro. Now, the reason that I picked this up is because the GoPro Hero 6 can shoot in linear mode, which is more of a standard view style image, even though it is still wider than most of my cameras. But it also offers a really good image stabilization, meaning I can handhold shoot with this camera and still get some nice smooth footage. And of course, one of the biggest reasons for me to put this together is size. Now, I don't do a lot of vlogging. I've done some and I do enjoy doing it, but I've found my biggest holdback on doing it is that I just feel awkward doing it in certain situations. It's just, I'm not that type of person to want to hold my DSLR out there with my GorillaPod Casey Neistat style. I can't get over that little bit of feeling of awkwardness for myself. It's not something that I feel I can do comfortably. Now, I've had several other cameras that I've also tried to do this on. I've run some of the Sony Alpha cameras. Again, they're nice, the size is nice, but again, I just felt a little awkward still. But going back to this GoPro setup, with the new list of features that the GoPro has and with how compact it is, I started doing some research into GoPro vlogging style setups because I felt like that was going to be the best direction for me to look to try and put together the system that I wanted. Now, while looking into the GoPro vlogging setups, I found that most of them looked just really poor and unprofessional and kind of put together with a lot of Velcro or double-sided tape and shoe glue. It's not something that I would feel good putting together. So I decided to design my own setup using some of the combination of things that I found out there that looked like they would work well, but in a better put together package. I've got the standard aluminum GoPro Hero 6 case that most everybody is running because it gives you those 1/4-20 adapter spots in a number of locations. I've got the 52mm UV ring on there currently, but I have found that 52mm ND filters work a little bit better for me in bright light. And of course, I had to throw a little extra touch on there and laser my logo onto my aluminum camera case. Now, every video about putting together a GoPro vlogging setup is always focused on the audio because the internal microphone on a GoPro is awful. But to run an external microphone on a Hero 6, you have to run the GoPro audio adapter, which plugs into the USB-C slot on the side, and then it gives you a microphone input jack on the bottom. All the videos are about how to place this fairly large size unit onto this setup somewhere and then try and add the microphone and make it all look decent. And I think they've all fallen short on the looks department mainly. The biggest part of my setup is the 3D printed case that sits between the aluminum camera case and the mount for standard GoPro attachment. I actually designed two different styles of this lower box. Both are made to house that GoPro audio adapter through the center of them. The one that I went with here is the most compact version, and that's based on the microphone choice. Now, the audio adapter slides in the case through the bottom, and then it's retained inside there with a large O-ring. In the description below, I'll have a link to all of the parts that I use to put together this case, and a link on where you can have this case 3D printed. With the audio adapter placed inside of the 3D printed case and the O-ring retaining it, I plug in my spiral microphone cable into the audio adapter and then run it through this back portion of the 3D printed case. The case is designed to hold that in place, just kind of keep everything in a nice tight package. Now, the design that I actually have mounted up here with my GoPro is designed around this 008 directional shotgun microphone that's extremely small. But if you'd like to run a mic more like a Rode Video Micro or the Boya version, that's why I designed this case. The audio adapter slides in the bottom of the case just like the one that I'm running. This case holds the spiral so it goes upwards, and then you can plug the other end into your shotgun style microphone, attaching to the cold shoe that also comes with this aluminum case. When shopping for the aluminum GoPro case, I went specifically with one of the versions that had this slide down rear panel to help retain the GoPro, because I didn't like that thumb screw that pressed into the side of the camera. I just don't like that. It also stuck out and was just a little less clean than I feel this version is. Working our way down and finishing off this setup, I'm running the GoPro Shorty tripod and handle combo. I found that this handle is the best for me. It's just nice, small, and compact, but it also has the telescoping option, and it is a tripod. I found that this is super handy for setting up long time lapses or anything like that, but with just my nice compact setup. But if you own a GoPro, you also know that the battery life isn't great. And if you don't want to carry around spare batteries, I also picked up one of the handles that's also a large battery pack, and it allows you to charge right into that audio adapter. On my 008 microphone, I'm also using a little lavalier dead cat to knock down any wind noise, and it seems that that works pretty well. In this current setup, I had the microphone facing towards the subject the camera is filming, but it is also easily flipped around. The microphone is held in place to the 3D printed piece with that same O-ring that holds the audio adapter in place. So if you wanted to flip the microphone around, you can actually just quickly disconnect it, spin it around, and connect it back in. It's incredibly easy and works really well. While this microphone is kind of expensive, it is directional, and that's why I wanted it. You can also pick up one of their microphones that's non-directional. I believe it's the 001, but I'll make sure to put links to the correct product in the description below. Now, as far as actually putting this setup together once you have all the pieces, there's a couple of options. The aluminum case has two M3 threaded holes on the bottom of it, and those are used typically to connect the aluminum mounting foot that bolts to it. Now, I remove that aluminum mounting foot, and then it gets attached to the 3D printed case with two extra M3 lock nuts. So if you want to put this together, you are going to need a number of small pieces of hardware, but I'll put that entire hardware list together for you in the description below as well. Attaching the 3D printed audio case to the aluminum case is where you've got a couple of options. Now, you can simply use a couple of flathead M3 screws to attach from the audio case to the aluminum GoPro case. That doesn't take any modification. You can just bolt it in and you're good to go. What I decided to do personally was there's a couple of holes in the bottom of this case. Now, they're not threaded though. I personally have a 1/4-20 tap set, and I tapped the case myself, and then I attached the 3D printed case to the aluminum case with two short 1/4-20 flathead screws. It's probably not needed to do the 1/4-20 option like I did, but one of the purposes that I put this together was to be able to just throw this around with disregard, because it's a GoPro and it should be able to take it. And one of the very last touches that I put onto this setup is that I purchased some orange anodized aluminum thumb screws. No reason at all. The plastic one that comes with the GoPro mount is just fine. I just like orange and aluminum, so I threw that on. I personally think that this is the ultimate GoPro vlogging or run and gun style setup. It just makes it nice and compact. I don't feel as awkward carrying it around. It shoots insane video, up to 240 frames per second. There's just lots of little things about this setup that make it really appealing to me and make me glad that I put it together. I'll put together a list of everything I used to put this thing together, as well as a link on where you can buy one of these 3D printed cases if you like. And if enough of you guys want it and need help putting it together, I'll also put together a complete specific video on exactly how this thing goes together. And before we go, I'll make sure to go take it outside and get some audio and video footage of it for you. It's a windy day outside, so it should give you a pretty good idea. And I'll also show it indoors next to like a noisy air conditioner. So again, this is just a normal outdoor video check. I'm running 1080/30 with the stabilization on, Pro Tune on. My ISO is locked at 1600. You can see that I've got a good amount of wind by the motion of the trees behind me there. This does have the micro dead cat on the microphone, and this is the 008 directional microphone, which seems to have worked pretty well. I'm going to turn the camera around. You can see the directionality, even though I'm talking at, maybe 18 inches away from it. So with it turned the other way, you'll probably notice a little bit of reduction of pickup. Now this is filming indoors. I'm actually standing directly in front of a window style AC unit, you can tell. And also I'm filming inside of a machine shop right now. So just on the other side of that door are CNC machines that are running currently, cutting aluminum. They make a lot of noise. They're very noticeable, but this microphone seemed to do a pretty good job of knocking a lot of that out. And I've also been holding my keys in my hand, kind of moving them around as I walked outside to lock up the other building. So hopefully it didn't pick up too much of that noise while I was walking. But that covers my GoPro vlogging setup. Hopefully that helps some of you guys, and if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. With that, guys, like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you on the next one.